Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. Bigotry is very much alive and well in America these days, but not in the way that the left would have you believe. Because upon the recent death of trans activist Cecilia Gentili, a man who came to the U.S. illegally from Argentina and whose greatest goal it seemed was to decriminalize sex work, well, friends and family of his decided to use his funeral in order to mock none other than the Catholic faith. Gentili may have grown up Catholic in Argentina, but reports indicate he was an atheist for the rest of his life. The funeral was arranged with St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York. However, all these pertinent details were suppressed or hidden from the church about Gentili, because Gentili's activist buddies said they wanted to commandeer the church for their own purposes. They never had any intention of going to the funeral with respect and to pray for the repose of Cecilia's soul. Instead, in their response to the outrage they caused late last week, they accused the church of the same old litany of crimes: hatred, oppression, being sanctimonious, and blah, blah, blah. But guess what? These circus-looking freaks are bigots pure and simple. They knowingly and gleefully defiled a sacred space, no different than if they had used graffiti or firebombs to vandalize the cathedral, as they do in Canada. Unless you think I'm being over the top, here's what two of the eulogizers had to say about Cecilia, and pay special attention to the slurs they used to subvert Catholic doctrine and to make it a perverse mockery of itself. And be wary as you listen to the soundbite that they do say some pretty graphic stuff. Watch.
This whore, this great whore, Saint Cecilia, mother of all whores,
Now, the true Saint Cecilia died during the ancient Roman persecution of Christians in the first half of the 3rd century. She was both a virgin and a martyr, having given herself entirely to God. The exact opposite to the degeneracy celebrated inside the hallowed halls of St. Patrick's Cathedral. The funeral, of course, only got worse from there, with LGBTQ activist and actor Billy Porter, who wears dresses on the red carpet, that's kind of his shtick, singing a mocking rendition of the Lord's Prayer. And yet another activist doing twirls down the aisle while the Ave Maria was sung. Some say in the crowds they changed the words from Ave Maria to Ave Cecilia. The sacrilege is unbearable to watch, and many are upset that the priest didn't stop the funeral after it became quite clear that these activists were using it for a political stunt, and again, a bigoted, anti-Catholic, anti-Christian one at that. The church has since put out a statement over the weekend claiming that they were deceived and that an appropriate massive reparation was or will be performed. Joining us now to discuss is Sean Carney, the president and CEO of 40 Days for Life. Sean, thanks for being here tonight.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Great. So what do you make of this spectacle, if we can call it that?
Yeah, I saw you were going to have me on for this. So the church was deceived. I mean, deception takes time. I mean, they were deceived probably at first, but 10 minutes in, 30 minutes in, an hour in, this is on the priest. I don't know how you continue. I don't know how you say we're going to pause for a moment, call security over, and say, look, the behavior here isn't appropriate for a mass. We're going to reconvene and we'll be communicating with you when there's a funeral. You can't continue. It's a total fiasco. And if they were deceived on the front end, they have Google. I mean, you have the name of the deceased. Is there zero due diligence? You can just go to St. Patrick's and get married or have a funeral and they don't look into you at all. I don't know. That's a little difficult to believe. But if they were completely left in the dark, that they need to increase the due diligence there. I do think that this is a mockery of humanity in life and death, which is what the transgender movement is. They mock human nature. They deny human nature. They deny science. And they do that in life, and they do that in death. These are lost people. These are angry people. It's a militant movement that hates religion, and this is on full display.